Welcome back to the channel. Now, it's taken me a while to really try and extract everything that I learned from this ayahuasca retreat. How did it even come about in the first place? So I'm on a sales call with somebody, one of our real estate prospects, and we are talking about Tulum, and I'm really inquisitive, and it's off season. I can go there for less than £1,000 for 2 weeks. Flights and accommodation. The sunshine is gorgeous out there, and he said, whatever you do, don't end up in the jungle. And I was like, that's exactly what I need to do. So I literally booked the flight the very next day, leaving on the Friday. And while I was out there, I then looked, and I've been called to do this. For anyone that has experienced it, it is kind of next level. I'm not advising anyone to do this. It has been beneficial for me. If you are on a spiritual journey and you are into personal development and you want to know more about the meaning of life, why we're here, like this will give you the answers. Everything that I learned in Kabbalah has been confirmed to be true. The 1% reality that we see, touch, taste, feel and hear is only a fraction of what is around us at all times. And what ayahuasca enables us to do is see reality how it really is. It allows us to see it through our third eye. It's the active compound is called DMT, which our body naturally generates, and it's plant medicine. So it's these two plants. One is like a bark and the other one is a leaf, and they create this and they cook it up. And I'll kind of put a photo up here of the little cup that you take. You get a little shot of it, and then you also get a glass of water as well. And you do a handshake with it. So first and foremost, I find somebody on Google, this Bliss Eden, and he was fantastic, great energy, Scottish guy. And when I get there, he's telling me that he's teaching himself to levitate, and instantly I'm like, oh Jesus, he's fucking nuts. Like that's when I was just like, Elvis has left the building. I was just like, what? But, and I know it sounds crazy, once you experience this thing and once you see what reality is really like, you realize that anything, literally anything is possible. Like, so you take this cup and you do, it's called a handshake. So what you do is you get to know the medicine. So you take one shot of it, and I don't know what the measurements are. I would need to ask the shaman. But I drank, this little shot, and and we were talking. We set an intention of what I wanted to learn, and again, it was just like to see how the world really works, and and you feel a bit warm and you feel a bit fuzzy, and I was just and this was 2 hours. We're just talking back and forth, and I was like, is this stuff working? Like, what is it I'm supposed to see? He didn't really tell me anything. So he said, how are you feeling? I said, just a little bit warm and fuzzy. He's like, okay, that's good. So he gives you a full 2 hours to see kind of what effects take place. So then we get another shot, exactly the same. And I don't know anything about the dosages, but this time, things start to get a little bit 3D. So I start to like focus on things, and I'm like, that's really interesting, So again, for about another hour or so, then, as I say, things then start to, if I stay in one spot and I focus, then things kind of not start to move, but they seem to like almost look 3D, where they start to stand out. And cut a long story short, you then do a third shot. This is when you blast off. And within probably 20 minutes of that third shot, wow, like where does one start? You can't accurately describe what happens. And I'm very lucky because a lot of, there are people out there that do not experience the same things. And this is the whole point of the plant medicine. We are shown what we need to elevate. And some people need to deal with their bullshit and need to deal with their, their shadow self. And you know, and in future I may need to, and I've worked on myself for years, and I'm aware of a lot of my trauma, or at least I thought so until I went to Scientology recently. I mean, I wouldn't even say it was a pleasurable experience, I would say it was a blissful experience. It was literally heaven on earth. You experience God, and God is not a man on a cloud. God is an energy force. It is, like Kabbalah says, the light. It's the light force of the creator. It is everything everywhere. That's what came up for me. I thought whoever's sold I know T-Mobile is still big in the States, but everything everywhere in the UK, I was like, he's definitely done an ayahuasca retreat, because that's how I envisaged it. It's literally around us at all times. You see the most amazing colors. You see, you know, everything is breathing together. I remember, you know, looking up at the underside of this wooden shelter, and literally starts breathing. Everything is breathing together, and see Aztec symbols, and you see the most amazing colors. So he then says to me to shut my eyes. When you shut your eyes, you go inside, and it is infinite. It's never ending. It's just constantly moving and evolving, and again, you can't accurately describe what you experience, but you're like, oh my God, this is like amazing, and you can control it. You know, you can, with your negative thoughts, would then look dark and spiky, and then you could think positively, and then it would bloom like a flower. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you could literally change what you saw in real time. And I was like, wow. You know, like, it was so profound. And as I say, it showed me exactly what I wanted to know. The other thing I realized was, we are always creating our reality at every given opportunity. We are exactly in the world where we want to be, based on our thoughts, feelings, and actions, based on our conditioning, based on our thoughts, based on our work ethic. We decide. So if we stay at a 30k a year job, it's because that's all we think we're worth. We don't strive for any more. We are comfortable at that level. And this thing showed me, this is infinite. You can be the best version of you. Hence why since I've come back, I was like, I'm going to say yes to everything. One of my friends recommended Scientology. Yep. A personal trainer come to me in the gym. Yep. You know, even part of the ayahuasca retreat itself was going to experience as much of life as possible. And as I say, what I learned was, like, it's up to us. You know, the only thing that stops us, like, if we just do not stop, we cannot fail. The universe and God and this energy field will support us in anything. In anything that we want to do, if it's for the greater good. If it's to harm somebody, it won't. And it's a completely peaceful and loving force. There is no negativity. Even when you see the dark aspects, you don't feel in fear. It's just letting you know, that almost tells you off. You know, like say for example, when I was thinking negatively, I felt like the person that I was with was turning against me, and then I would then focus on somebody else, and because I started to get a little bit panicked, because, you know, I was experiencing this most amazing and I was like, how do I go back to reality? I've just seen the world for how it really is. How do I go back to the world that I know and love? Like, how do I integrate back into reality, the normal version of reality? And you just decide. You will be ready when you're ready. Everything is happening in perfect harmony at all times. And I was like, that is crazy. So if I just literally put on my stuff now and I go, and he's like, yeah. But literally, what it also taught me in real time, I could attract negativity by thinking that the guy was against me, where he got very erratic. He started he was showing me this video of, you know, his content, and it felt like I was just in a loop and stuck, and like almost like he was breathing down my neck of like, what do you think? What do you think? And I started to get a little bit fearful, and I was like, so I would focus on something else and start to breathe deeply, and then I was like, and then he would move away from me and sit back down. I was like, oh shit, so I'm controlling this. I'm controlling this in real time. This is crazy. And So then I was like, so I just decide like that I'm gonna leave and I can get up and you do this other thing, purging. You feel a bit nauseous because how ayahuasca works is that the leaf and the bark, it does something to your body, because if you just drink I think the leaf part or the bark, one of the aspects of it, it will not absorb into your body and you will not, unlock your third eye and have this experience. But the two aspects together, and I'm like, how did they find this out? Because there's another version called bufo, which is frog venom. So they literally they pop a pimple on a frog's back and they smoke it, and it's pure DMT. And again, we create it in our bodies. And that's like simulating death, where you literally leave your body and you go into the spirit world. With ayahuasca, I was always in my body. But what I also noticed was that I could see through the energy field, meaning that I could look up, like if I could see the tree, I could literally zoom in through the energy field and I could see the tree really close up that my eyes wouldn't normally be able to do. And I was like, oh shit. So again, this energy field allows you to, and again, this is kind of what I've been shown through meditation, through, signs. There are no coincidences. There are no mistakes. And again, I learned that, we attract, and this sounds really difficult, especially if you've been, at the victim of it. Babies that have cancer, for example, they actively choose it. We actively choose our shit to elevate and to have that specific role in life. So it's like, I am here to, and this is the other thing. It's like, there was no concept of time. There was just now. There was just continuous, the present moment. So while you're in this state, I was just like you completely lose track of space and time. You can see everything for how it really is, everything around you. And then inside you as well. The other thing that I learned was that pain is all in our head. And literally, it was like the uncomfortableness of the chair. I was like, oh, that's a bit uncomfy because I've got sciatica, or at least so I thought. I then started to focus on the breathing wood on the top of the shack of the cover, and then there was no pain. So I was like, oh shit, just by me continually paying attention to it was giving me the pain. So literally the next day when I woke up from it all, I decided I no longer have sciatica and I didn't take any painkillers. Now, as a result of that, I've been living on painkillers for the last 5-6 years since I've had sciatica. I felt really anxious because, Tramadol is an opiate and it dulls your emotions. So again, I was like, holy shit, I'm now feeling everything a lot more. It was really difficult for me. This is the other thing that was kind of paradigm shattering, because you can no longer not believe in God, and God is not religion. Religion is man-made, and people will subscribe to God in different ways. But what I saw and experienced was this all-knowing, all-loving energy field that is always giving, and it's up to us how much we tap into this energy field. And as I say, we can co-create with it. So, and this is what I've been able to do, how I've been able to create the life that I have, by doing deals with it. If you help me in my business and help connect me with people that are looking for me, then I will, do this and I will do that, and I do sharing and I like to give, etc., etc. And it has completely changed my life. I've literally been guided by it, and as I say, I got called to do this, and then it confirmed everything that I thought, that everything is happening perfectly at all times. Like anything bad that happens to us, sometimes you can look back on that and go, that's why that happened. Once you start looking at life like, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? Rather than, why is this happening to me? And you're in victimhood. That's when your whole world will change. And this is what this energy field taught me. It's like, you choose. You can either have a really negative experience and you can be freaked out. And like, even when I decided, right, I'm gonna now try and go home, and I had this fear of like, oh my God, there's hardly any internet in Tulum. So I had internet while I was at the ayahuasca retreat, And then, of course, when I leave the retreat, I'm then outside on the roadside. There's no internet. I was like, where's Miguel? I start to freak out. And again, because I look over, there's this guy over the road that starts to do the same few steps, a little bit like the black cat in the Matrix. Every time I look round, same few steps. Every time I look round, same. And I was like, is this guy real? Like, and then I was like, is this guy a threat? And then again, in my head, I don't even know if the guy is real. Like if he even existed. And then I was like, shit, wouldn't it be bad if it started licking it down with rain? And sure enough, and again, I'll put the photo here of my wet shorts. I created a rainstorm in real time by saying, wouldn't this be terrible if that happened? And then I said, wouldn't it be amazing if the guy started to do a rain dance? And again, he starts to do a rain dance. And again, I have no idea if he was real. The other thing, I could change the direction of the traffic at will. You know, sometimes on social media you get these things of like, just by your mind you can change the direction of the tube train. That's what I was doing in real time with the traffic. And then I saw a TUI bus and I was like, because that's how I came on Thompson. And then it was almost like I was then integrating back into reality. Miguel finally turns up and I'm like, Miguel, I'm so relieved to see you, because I was just like, holy shit. I was like, Miguel, you're the transporter. You're the messenger. You were the one that was supposed to bring. He's probably thinking, fucking mad Brit. And even then, and I've had this weird thing since I was young. Like I have really mad thought patterns, and I now interrupt them with something I learned at Kabbalah, saying yad yad yad, as into break fatal attraction, as into, you know, break. And you can also use cancel. So whenever you start to go down a negative thought, like those thoughts are not you. Because sometimes when I see people on Facebook and they say, oh, like 9 years without my mum, part of me, and there's a thought that goes, I'm fucking so glad that your mum's dead, you horrible cunt. To see what that would, you know, I've never ever done it, but I get these strange thoughts. I get the same with a car. So I will cars to crash, or at least I used to when I was younger. And I used to hold my breath because I used to get so panicked in a car. And I was in numerous car crashes in my early 20s, to the point that I can no longer sit in the passenger seat. I always have to sit in the back. I have to distract myself from watching what the driver is doing. Otherwise, I'm not in control, and I look for all of these anomalies. And being in the passenger seat, I can see all of the danger. My brain is constantly always scanning to what can go wrong, and I can't control it. So I just don't sit in the passenger seat unless I have to, and then I will distract myself with my phone. But going back to this thing of willing the car to crash, I could literally in real time so we would veer into the oncoming traffic, and then I would go yad yad yad, take deep breaths, and then we would then go back again. And I could literally control it in real time. And again, I have no idea if it was real or not. And I didn't want to find out, obviously, because I was absolutely petrified that I was, one, controlling reality in real time, but this thing was showing me that it's up to you how you live your life. You can either go that path and you can crash the car, or you can choose positivity and you can choose life. And then I started to get fearful about Bernard, who came out and, you know, he's my closer, and he came out and experienced it. And I was like, oh, you know, if I get back and I'm all like woozy and I can't get in, wouldn't that be shit? And I was like, no. And then by that time I'd learned, I was like, no, he's gonna be in, he's gonna be there. And again, I decided he was gonna be there, and sure enough, he was there. So I was like, shit, so we're always deciding what we want. Everything is happening in perfect harmony at all times. Now I've got into the habit of actively choosing what I'm gonna do, actively programming. So I've started to take my personal development, what I'm feeding myself, on a whole new level. I'm saying yes to as many things as possible. Within a week of coming back, I've managed to get meetings with the top team in the US, the top team in Canada, because they're interested in AI. Before, I would be like, oh, they would be bothering me. Like, I mean, I would be bothering them. So I was like, you know, maybe wouldn't reach out. And now I know that we are limitless, and, you know, nothing is off limits. And it's up to us how abundant and how, you know, infinite we are. Now I'm going all in. And I was just like, that's all it is. It's all up here. And again, it's this looking at the matrix, as Andrew Tate calls it, how reality is created of workabees, you know, from school. So then when you think about reality, it's all illusionary. You know, it's because we are told that this is how it is. You go to school, you get good grades, you go to uni, you get a job, you work for 40 hours for 40 years, and then, if you're lucky, you get to enjoy your life for 20 years when you're old and decrepit. We only do that because that's what we're told. We don't know any different. And I was like, so I've been able to create a life where I'm constantly on holiday, I'm constantly working, I get paid handsomely for it because I've decided that that's what I want to do. There is nothing stopping you from doing it other than the lack of belief or knowledge that it is even possible. And as I've said in previous videos, going and even seeing that it's possible by watching client success stories through lots of different digital marketers, and they are in the minority, but if you want to be that person, the only way you don't be that person is if you give up. And if you decide, oh, I'm not cut out for this, and oh, this is too hard. If you just go for it and do not give up, you cannot fail. And that's what drives me mad, because we all get the same information. All of the marketing courses that I have done, I've always been the poster boy for it. What makes me different from the 90% that don't succeed or that struggle? It's up here. So if you master the inner game, out here can only follow. So we've rambled on, and it is, you know, going back to the beginning of where he said, I'm teaching myself to levitate. Once we start to raise the consciousness of the world, and if you think, you know, things like iPhones, if you'd have showed an iPhone to somebody in the 40s, they would think you was a witch or a sorcerer. It is going to get to the point where we can develop superpowers. These UFOs in the sky, they are just further along than we are with technology and with, you know, mastering physics, etc., etc. I don't know if they're from the future or if they're from a different planet, but their level of consciousness and the level of knowledge is a lot greater. So yeah, completely bonkers. If you feel called to do it, I would advise you, it will teach you what you need to know. What I really liked about the person that I did it with, they do it during the day. Now, typically a lot of them are overnight, and they are literally to get out your shadow self and the bad parts of you. As I say, apart from me freaking myself out of like, oh shit, I can change this in real time, and the guy got aggressive. And also when I was leaving, again, I was like, oh shit, he's against me. And then he would like look all angry and stuff. And it felt never ending. It felt like we were in this constant loop of we never ever got to the gate. And then this dog comes out and interrupts that pattern. And then we finally get to the gate. So it was literally teaching me in real time, you can turn this guy against you, and like, because there was a part when I got outside of the retreat and I was like, shit, I need to go back in there and face him. That's what I need to do. Or I need to face, because you then start to get very fearful, because you start to get a bit panicked of like, how the fuck do I go back to normal reality? How have I seen all of this stuff and I've got all of this new knowledge? And now, because you start to freak out, you think it's not going to wear off. Eventually it does. As I say, you just decide that you're going to be ready, because you realize that you're creating it all. And then you think, shit, am I always creating it all? And the answer is yes. We are always creating our reality at all times. So we can actively decide in the given moment. And I tried, I was like, maybe I could just put $1 million in my account. It didn't work. So I was like, okay, sweet. So I need to give the value, and I need to build the business, and then so I'm on the right path, but I can't just magic it into my account, because I tried to play with it. I also wanted to find out if aliens were real. I didn't find out. Also found out that the truth, and those people that are being vilified of trying to suppress the truth, like Russell Brand, like Andrew Tate, like Elon Musk, they are the people that are trying to help humanity. And the system and the media and governments and politics, they are trying to suppress reality. They don't want people to know about how limitless we are. They don't want us to know how powerful we really are, or the game of taxation and the way that the system is set up traditionally, of where we are taxed 6 to 7 times on our money. You know, they have all of these loopholes for themselves, and it's set up so, you know, there is nothing stopping you from doing that yourself. And if you are, you know, self-employed or a digital marketing agency owner, set yourself up in Dubai as soon as possible. Spend 6 months, 1 day outside of the UK and pay 0 tax, because they are misspending your money and they don't want the best for us. That's what became really evident of, you know, these tech platforms that are censoring information. You know, with COVID, 100% a scam. You know, it was set up as a thing of control, and we are slowly but surely walking into more control, more of a dystopian nightmare. And it's the people that are fighting back and are waking up from the system and trying to wake others up. There's no coincidence that Russell Brand is now being labeled a racist because he has a channel of, you know, I think 5 million people that he's actively saying, look, these people don't want the best for you. And now they're trying to lock him up. You know, same with Julian Assange. You know, look what happened to him. Anyway, I don't want to get cancelled, so I'm going to shut my mouth. You have to play within the rules of the system. You have to make enough money to be able to be out of the system, and then you have to figure out a way of changing the system. This is a great way of waking people up for them to realize how powerful they are. We are just not told. You know, the system is constantly trying to keep us in a box, trying to constantly tell us that we are not enough, that there is a lack. So I have, you know, started to, you know, ask people in my friend group, would you like to experience this? Because, as I say, it has been life-changing for me, and I'm sure that I will go on to grow at an exponential rate now that I know the rules of the game and how to play, you know, with both the physical reality and the 99% reality of the spirit world, or, you know, the light force of some people call it the quantum field. If you go and check out Bruce Lipton or Dr. John DeMartini, they all speak about it. Joe DiPazenza, they're all, Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, all on the money. All of them are on the money. That's exactly what I experienced. So you can either stay ignorant to it, or you can leverage it. And I would advise for you to, if you're not happy where you are, if you're happy plodding along in that system, and you know a certain percentage of people will be, it's typically the black sheeps of the family. They want more, they want to be more, they don't fit into the world, they ask questions, they don't like authority, they typically, you know, are not very studious unless the things that they really like. I was one of those people. And as I say, now I feel like I've got a bigger calling to wake up as many people as possible, to share this with as many people as possible. So if you want to know more, by all means reach out. I can point you in the right direction. There are lots of organisations that do it within the UK. You don't need to go to Tulum. But nobody has ever regretted doing an ayahuasca retreat. I will leave that there. It was a deep one, but it's a necessary one. And I hope, you know, that you have taken something from it. And as I say, if you want to know more, by all means reach out. Jamie C. Nicholas on Instagram. I've gone down the ayahuasca rabbit hole. I'm really intrigued by Bufo now, which is DMT, which is like you simulate death, where you literally leave your body. I'm not entirely sure I'm ready for that yet, but there's lots of content out there. Go and do your own research, and then if you are ready, by all means find out where you can access these plant medicines. You know, the government will tell you that it's a psychedelic drug, and it's what I experienced was next level. Thank you so much, and ciao for now.